Good morning, GM. Hey, everybody. This is Tonya Scholz. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning, Tonya. How you doing?
Very good. We are recording the space, and I just want to let everyone know. And let me go ahead and pin up some stories I thought was interesting. But let's go. You and I never really did a space together where we just no one is here except us talking. And we were saying let's interview each other because I wanted so I can write the blog about it. Us. And I was like, this is perfect.
Yes, I love it. Absolutely.
So let's do this. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what your company is pivoting to on 2022? Today's space is going to be. I want to talk a little bit about hybrid events because I think I hear a lot of that talking. We've been talking about hybrid events, but I hear it more than ever. And then with the social audio aspect of it, so. I just want to, let's talk a little bit about yourself, and then when we talk a little bit, and then you can talk about it to me. You can interview me if you want, but I just thought it'd be interesting from your point of view because you're actually doing a lot more than I am because I'm getting back into my company, but I think you've been busy this whole time. So
we have. So my company is Mugsy PR, and Mugsy has, when we started, we really were deep into traditional public relations and marketing, some digital marketing, and real life events. And then as the years went by, our focus started to shift into a lot more of the digital side of things and what we were calling experiential experiences, basically, where we were trying to create these real tangible experiences between brands and their consumers. And that was a really big thing going into 2020. So in 2018, 2019, January, February of 2020, that's where our focus was really getting people to touch and experience and engage their senses in real life with these brands. And then, of course, COVID hit. And like everyone else, we had to pivot, and we had to pivot for clients in a variety of sectors. And so we really had to very quickly learn how to create, well, online events first, because all through 2020, when everything went digital for every client in every industry, we had to help them figure out how to bring their business online. And we did that. We ourselves learned a lot about affiliate marketing and about different, social audio, and working with you on the social audio side. And really just bringing everything into this not new space, but new space for a lot of the clients. And now we are finding ourselves in this really interesting crossover between real life and digital events. So we have these amazing hybrid events. And for us at Mugsy, it's been really exciting because we have a lot of clients who are jumping into Web3, and they are doing a lot of work within the metaverse and creating some metaverse spaces, which is new for us, but we're super psyched about, and working within NFTs and all of that. And we're learning how to take all these different new aspects and create these amazing events around them, where people who come out in real life can enjoy them, and yet people who are home and viewing it virtually can also experience it at the same level as the people who are there in real life. And so that's been where our focus is really bridging the gap between real life events and this digital side of things. And we're learning it along with our clients, but we've met some amazing vendors and developers and people who are doing some really cool stuff in the spaces. So we've been able to do things that we didn't even realize were possible. And then I know, Tonya, you've been working similarly on putting together some events that help to kind of bridge that gap and create a collaboration between the digital world and the real world as well. So it's been fun to see what you're doing and get to work with you on some things also.
Thank you, Emily. Yeah, I think you and I, we've been doing this for so long. It's frustrating. uh, Let me say somebody wants to come up, and well, unfortunately, we can't have you come up yet. So, yeah, you and I have been working on this project, different projects. We talk about this all the time, and how different things. I mean, remember in 2020, we just were saying, "Oh, hybrid event. We're gonna go hybrid," and people didn't quite catch on. And I think when you're locked up for, like, when you're in quarantine or when you're not allowed to go do certain things that you used to do, it changes a lot of people. And now, and then you went into 2021 and you hear a lot of people talking a lot about social audio, and then you hear about hybrid events. And here we are in early 2022, and actually tomorrow be the Lunar New Year for myself, and that's huge in Asia, where we look at pretty much your businesses, what's going to be like the coming year. What are you going to plan? What people plan, and like in America, it's not Lunar New Year is not a big thing unless you're have an Asian descendant. But it seems like the goal with the Lunar New Year is to figure out what's your coming year. So I'm excited about everything that's being created, especially with the NFT and the music NFT. So now, Emily, so that you're doing this now, and I notice you have clients. You have a client that's are into yachts and different things. Are you bringing? I know we talked about NFT, and you guys were talking about the smart contract with the NFT of the yacht and all these different
Mhm.
things. Are you looking into any upcoming big events? I know there's one that you and I are working with, but is there any big upcoming one where you see that an NFT is going to be the token to get into your event, to a virtual event and in-person event?
So I do. We have a couple of clients that we're working on with things like that. So we have, of course, our yacht client, which I think the most major event, which I can't divulge too much about, but we definitely will be doing something pretty major at the 2022 Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show. And that's in October of 2022. And that's definitely going to be a pretty massive collaborative event that will be both. It will be a hybrid event. It will include NFTs. There's a lot of Web3. Um, I can't say too much about it, but there's a lot that's going on with that. That one we're really excited about. And yes, people will be able to use NFTs and such as tokens into this event. It'll be a very like high end VIP event that's taking place, and we're really excited about that. And that's actually in the yachting world itself. There's been so much movement on creating utility and real world value to these NFTs and digital assets. It's been awesome to watch because they very quickly have latched onto this concept and are bringing the real life value to it. We have another client. We work with the Crypto Cannabis Club, and they are doing a lot of events, pretty much almost monthly or every couple of months, starting this year, where your NFT or your tokers for the Crypto Cannabis Club will get you into those events. And they do get you tangible, real world rewards and different. It's a cannabis related club, and so they have different dispensaries and such that they're working with to be able to provide giveaways and things like that to both medical patients or recreational users of cannabis across the globe with their NFTs. So it's pretty neat what these clients are doing. And again, these events, I mean, everything from a farmer's market, which I know you and I have been talking about, um, and being able to use their NFTs and things at the farmer's market to get in or to receive different items at different booths and things like that, all the way through to these really VIP high-end yacht events. It's just amazing what you can do in this space now.
But think about the event. Like for me, as an AR filter, because I learned so much through working on Facebook's platform. But I mean, for an event person to do an event nowadays, make it hybrid, and then also add the gamification to it, and add the AR. Just like you see with Pokemon. Pokemon was such a huge hit. Now imagine doing that during an event, like provide that kind of a gaming, and everybody usually utilize their phone to go from booth to booth to find out about different things, and they collect all these different AR characters, whichever one we were doing. I just think it's so incredible. And then people, it's a more interactive. And I noticed that if you do something like that, and if especially if, well, what we were talking about, to do a green market where, as kid friendly, family comes together, and there's music, there's art. But if you gamify it, I think it'd be kind of fun to watch the grandmother and grandfather, playing with the children, looking for a, a character that they're supposed to see from their phone for AR. I don't know. It's so exciting time we're living in.
It is. We just did Ignite Your Light in at CB Smith Park here in Broward County. And Ignite Your Light was a super interactive, immersive art experience where it was very family friendly. It was outdoors, and everybody came out and they walked along this path. And the path had these big inflatables and lasers and lights and interactive performers and all kinds of different things. And then it brought the families through to a big festival field. And the festival field had different art pieces that you could interact with, and they had performers on the stage. And then they gamified the entire event so that kids could get on the phone or families could get on their phones and take part in a scavenger hunt that was half AR and half real life. And they were searching for things throughout, and then different things would pop up in the scavenger hunt throughout on the phones. And then they could win prizes when they collected all the different real life and virtual items for the scavenger hunt, and then go back to the main stage and go to these performers and get real life prizes. And it was really cool the way that they did it. And I know, when they bring the event back next year, they're looking to go even bigger and add some aspects of virtual reality and such with it. And it's just really neat to see what can be done now.
I'm gonna do that too. Oh my God, that's so incredible.
It's so fun. And the families, it was neat because you were watching like these little kids who were so tech savvy, jumping on the phones and then, yeah, like showing their grandparents how to use it. And then watching the grandparents get all excited and running around, and the parents and the grandparents and the kids are all running around with the phones and playing this game. And it just added a whole different level to the event.
See, that's what I call it, stepping out of the box. I feel like a lot of people, especially in the event industry, kind of like gave up. Have you heard any news about our local area as far as any events people? Because I'm in tight with the big events people, and they haven't really talked much about doing events. Except, you know what? There is an event coming up. I might want to get us press passes for. Vice Queen Maria sent it to me. It's in Miami. It's in April. I'll take a look at it. But
Okay.
yeah, but I don't see that many events like we usually do. Even for hybrid, it's like everyone is just waiting. But I feel
I
it's
think a
just a
lot of
good time.
it is. And I think so. I will say in the crypto area, there's been like we just had the big Bitcoin conference in Miami. And I think we're starting to see a lot of these hybrid events for crypto, for like big NFT events and stuff. I think this year, I do believe we're going to start seeing like huge hybrid events for things like um, Sunfest and everything. They've been talking about doing some hybrid and virtual pieces for some of the performers and such. So I do think some of the event companies are really latching on to the hybrid events. We've done a lot with Chad Everett. He's down here in, I think he's based in Fort Lauderdale, but he does events throughout the entire state. And he also was one of the producers for Ignite Your Light. And he's been doing a lot in the virtual space and now in the hybrid, crossover with VR and with AR for his events. So I'd say he's one to watch for sure. And he just combined For Ignite with Cirque X, and Cirque X is a group of performers who I just have to say, like, I love how they pivot for their events because it's a group of circus performers run by Diane Lozano. And she, like, the minute COVID hit and they were still being asked to come out and do like private events and small group events, every costume that they had for every performer, she found a way to like authentically integrate a mask and then feathered them and rhinestoned them and created these like incredible costumes around these masked characters, and then managed to pivot through the entire pandemic of still being able to keep her company going and all these performers still working, which was huge for performers during that time. And now, as events are coming back, and yeah, as she's working with these different um, hybrid events, she has found new ways to create these characters that come to life through AR and interact with the real life characters. So she might be somebody we should bring on just to discuss some of the stuff that she's doing in that crossover, because she really is doing some amazing stuff.
Yes, 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 yes. I would love to bring her on, especially for Empower Yourself Monday. And
Yep.
I want to say hi to some people in the space also. Hey, everybody. Good morning, GM, and Vital Legion. I just want to say Vital Legion because he was in here to say hi to us. And my good friend Brent from Canada is here. And also Dr. M is here. Actually, Dr. M, we need to talk to you about a longevity space we're hosting with Brent. And then there's Amy. Hi, Amy. She's here also. And oh my God, Zoe. Hello, Zoe. Welcome. And also we have Maida Raymond. Hello there. See, stuff like this. I love about NFT. Like there's a Maida Raymond. Like you can get an NFT ramen noodle. See how cool is that? I think that's fantastic.
I love it. Yes, I just noticed what you're looking at. Yes, an NFT ramen noodle. I love it.
So when are we going to see a food truck? That's what I
Yeah.
want, an NFT food truck. And then we have Averted Vision who wants to speak. I'm going to go ahead and give them the mic. But yeah, so it's interesting how things are going nowadays, where we can actually create what we would love in the virtual world and then have it in the real world. So I think Maida Raymond, I actually thought, like, it'd be kind of cool if you were to reach out to all the Raymond shops in the world. With this token, you get a free bowl of Raymond. Um,
Right?
and anywhere you want to go. Would that be kind of cool?
That would be fun.
So, Averted Vision, how are you? Welcome. Hi. I think I put, yeah,
I
Averted
think,
Vision. Okay. There you go. Let me see if she got the mic or not.
yeah, we can.
Oh, yeah. There's an update on Twitter too, if you having a hard time connecting. So we've gone on to explain a little bit about hybrid events to people, but let's look at the opportunity of hybrid events like sponsorship. I actually posted a story here to 6 tips to attract and close sponsorships for hybrid events. I mean, that's a big thing that I feel like a lot of event um, promoters and different people that put together events, they always have a hard time getting sponsorship. Emily, I know you're really good at getting sponsorship. So tell me a little bit about this. What are your thoughts on hybrid events and sponsorship? And I think what it is people don't understand their value. I think I really do. I like when you ask for sponsorship, you literally have to inventory everything you have in your house. Why the person should sponsor you.
It's true. But I think actually people undervalue the sponsorship for hybrid events. I actually think you get more value out of them than you do just for a general real life event. Um, there's so many opportunities in these hybrid events that personally I've had an easier time selling sponsorships. We did so last year when working with the Jewish Women's Foundation of the Greater Palm Beaches, or JWF. We did their it's an annual event, and usually it's a real life luncheon. So last year we did it virtually, and it was the first year that the event was done virtually, and we had to sell the same level of sponsorship, actually a little bit higher level of sponsorship, because we had a lot of costs. We had Sandra Bernhardt, who came on as the keynote speaker last year, and we had to figure out how to live stream her in from New York with her tech setup in her home to make sure that people who were logging into the event with no tech issues and passwords and all kinds of different things. And so anyway, so we needed to sell a higher level of sponsorship. And what we ended up doing was creating first a sponsored waiting room where we were able to rotate videos from different sponsors in the waiting room itself as people were coming into the event. So that was one thing that, typically people ignore those in real life, but we actually noticed that we were getting a lot of click-throughs during that time to a lot of the websites that were being linked and being popped up and that the videos were being seen for. And then within the event itself, we had a lot of opportunity for banners and sidebars and we popped up an entire female-owned boutique online that female-owned products, that we put into the boutique where people could shop during the event and after the event, and a percentage went to the nonprofit, and we were able to promote sponsors through that page as well. And so now this year we're doing a hybrid event for them. Again, we'll have the actual real life component for the luncheon, but we're keeping a lot of the online pieces that we had set up for 2020 and for 2021 because it worked really well. And it did give our sponsors a lot more visibility and a lot more value. They saw a lot more click-throughs. They saw a lot more engagement on their social media and all of that than they do when just doing the one day in real life event. And now this year for the event, we're creating a virtual space. So we're creating like an actual really interactive shopping space. And we're creating, we're working this year with keynote speaker, Chef Michelle Bernstein. And she's going to do an event the night before our main event as well, which will be a cooking demonstration. And we're going to be able to live stream that and be able to share pieces with Chef Bernstein that we wouldn't be able to do at just a one-day real life event. So we're excited about that. We're looking into ways to utilize scan codes and such to create some interactive pieces at the event itself that people can really engage with while they're there, and just keep some excitement and momentum going during the event, where usually there's some lulls in between speakers. So yeah, I think that's for sponsors, those are all opportunities. Those are all places where you can brand stuff and engage with your consumers on a level that you just weren't able to when you only had, a limited time with them in a space, in a real life event.
I love that. I'm so excited for that. Yes, 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 yes. Everything you're saying is everything I've been saying.
I
Like,
know.
it's
No,
so,
you've
oh
been
my
saying
gosh.
this forever. Like, for people who don't know, Tonya was live streaming and creating hybrid events, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, before anybody else was even thinking about doing. We were having meetings and she was crawling on the floor, connecting wires between different devices so that people online could watch what we were talking about. And this is before anybody was thinking about all of that. So you've been doing this forever.
Yeah, you know what? I never really thought of it that way. That's why I was so comfortable with it. That's why I'm like, oh, let's do
Yeah.
this hybrid, hybrid. And I feel like when we're afraid of something, we usually don't launch, and because of the fear of failing. But I just I feel hybrid event is such a huge opportunity, especially now, and the relationship I've built being on Twitter Spaces and this whole social audio thing. Also, I mean, I look at it as a hybrid event. You can have a main event in person, and then if you're into metaverse, you can do something on metaverse. If you want to do even like Hoppin is one, Run the World. Remember Run the World?
Hmm. Hmm.
They actually have come a long way compared to 2 years ago when I was talking about them. Um, you know, you can have a pre-party on Twitter Spaces. You can, that could be free. You can have that to be like for people to talk about the party itself or the event itself. You can have an in-person event and also have a hybrid event where you can charge tickets from all over the world and also create the swag bag. I think that's the most important too. Like for sponsorship, you can get any type. Literally, a hybrid event is the sky's the limit. Do you agree, Emily? Like you can go, you could get your pen sponsored. You can get your everything sponsored.
You can get first of all, you can, in general, you can get everything sponsored. So anybody who like everything at your event can end up being sponsored. You just have to reach out to the right people. And you have to be able to show your data and your metrics, like why they should sponsor. And that's actually a lot easier with hybrid events because you have the opportunity for a higher reach. You have the opportunity to pretty much go global with your event, whereas in just a real world event, you're limited to the people in your area. So I actually think that it's truly a lot more beneficial for somebody to sponsor a hybrid event than any other event that they would possibly choose. So I think you show them a lot more return on the investment when you're pitching that to them in the first place, and it's easier to get the sponsors for it.
That's so true. And actually, we lost Alberta Vision again. I was getting to get to her,
Oh,
but yeah, no, it's so true about the hybrid event. I think people don't quite understand it yet. But I think for us, you know, when for women in communication, the South Florida chapter, for us to get anything sponsored, I literally have to, you know, all I tell them is we've been around. Our national's been around since 1909, so it shows stability. I tell them the feature, the advantage, and benefit of sponsoring us, and I think that's one of the reason why we were able to have the blue, you know, for all that, yeah, the 27th floor. I miss that place, Emily.
I loved that place. That place, the blue was great. That was
I,
one of
I,
my favorite spaces.
right, and I miss being pampered.
Yeah, well, that too. That was a nice perk of the whole thing.
Right, I know, but we can create our own perk in the virtual world. So
There we go. Yes. Yeah, we need to create our own blue. No, but I do, one of the things I wanted to mention with social audio also is that I think that people are, you're right, that they're almost afraid of it. And I'm not sure why, because hey, I personally like it better than video. I'm in my pajamas right now and y'all don't even know it. No, I just love that you don't have to get all made up and you don't have to get dressed up and you can
Yeah,
just be
absolutely.
and you can speak. And I love it. And it's my
Absolutely.
favorite part of it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, you,
And
you
I
know,
do. And I'm like, and any place that you'd have a podcast or a radio show or have any kind of coverage like that, you can very easily use social audio. And so to me, sporting events and any kind of events and being able to really just talk about whatever's going on at your real life event through Twitter Spaces gives you a big opportunity.
yeah, absolutely. And if you've got something to say to people, and you know, you don't have to wait for the likes and the ad requests and everything like that. If you've got something to say, you can just say it, and that's great. It's absolutely beautiful. I like the way the Twitter's come with this because uh, you can actually speak to people like you're talking to people in your front room. You know, there's people there. You can talk. I can talk and I pause now, and then somebody else can talk, and that's absolutely brilliant. Um, you know, fantastic, and fantastic for me because I'm a person that I'm quite socially how would you say socially inept. So I'm not very good in front of people, you know, face to face. But actually, right now, I'm just talking to my outside window. You know, I can see it in my garden. What I'm looking at is outside, but I'm talking to you all.
That's the best part about this, right? And it's the same thing, like the interaction. I feel like everybody has an easier time, as you just mentioned, being able to speak their mind when there's that level of um, being a little bit anonymous or that invisibility so that you're not
Absolutely,
seen and you're not thinking
absolutely,
about how you look. You're just able to speak your mind. And you're right, it's a beautiful thing to be able to have that now.
yeah. I just wish I could be like that in front of people. You know, so you know, I've got a room full of people, five, six, seven people, and everybody's speaking their mind, right? But me, I'm not. I'm not speaking my mind. I'm reserved. You know, I've got a little bit of doubt about what I'm saying, and you know, I'd love to be able to just be myself, which is great. And this, I can't see anybody. Nobody's in front of me, and it's so cool. You know, I can just talk.
Yeah, I do love that part of it. And it does tend to feel more human on social audio than when you go and see somebody speak in real life, because I feel like at most events, everything feels very scripted. People have a certain way that they network or they're speaking, based on something previously
Absolutely.
written. And here, everyone pretty much is just speaking what's come to mind based on the conversation that's flowing, which is
Mm,
how it really should be. And it
yeah.
creates a conversation. And I enjoy that
Yes.
part of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a conversation is beautiful, you know. A conversation. I always say, paradise for any human being. Paradise, not to be sexist, but paradise is man, which means for me, paradise is speaking to people and interaction.
Yeah, absolutely. And it gives the human touch to a digital technology, which is needed. It gives pretty much what makes it work. And I like this format as much as I love podcasts and I love, any form of audio overall. I love this format because of that right there. Because in real time, not typing in something to engage, in a chat, but in real time, you can have these conversations and listeners can participate and they can interact, and it changes what it is that you initially, maybe came on with the intention to discuss, but it creates something new and collaborative, which is even better.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, this is, I'm actually speaking to a phone, a telephone, a mobile phone, and there's nobody around actually. It's just me. It's just me speaking to you lot, all of you, and I like it. It's nice and easy for me to be able to speak like this.
Yeah.
Are you a DJ? I'm looking at your. I just follow you from our page because we follow people that's been in our that speak in our.
I'm a DJ, yes.
That's great. And you do electronic music?
Yeah, absolutely. 100% electronic music from the 80s. I love the 80s, but 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010, 2020, 2022, because I absolutely love new, brand new electronic music. The newer, the better.
Very cool.
Well, yeah, I'm looking. Well, you see that there's. I'm no aging, by the way. I'm the one with the pink
No,
background.
no, no, no.
I'm gonna
I don't
follow
need an
you.
agent.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I don't
follow
need
you
no
because I
agent. I'm
promote
not trying
DJs.
to get famous. I don't want to be a famous DJ.
No,
I just absolutely love playing electronic music. I have, I consider I have the best electronic music available today. That's what I consider. But there you go. I'm an
oh my God,
electronic
we're
DJ.
gonna have to talk so I can hear you. Because
Yeah,
I used to the raves in the '90s. So, but we'll talk about that.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
another space.
Right?
So,
That's a huge
Yeah, yeah.
space, by the way. That's a
yeah,
huge market.
Well, a massive space, massive. Yeah.
Yeah. That festival world is huge, and
huge, right?
they spend, like, if you have a way to get into that space, it's a huge consumer space as well.
Well, see, I was born a passionate music person. I grew up I was born '76. I grew up in the '80s with the Duran Duran, the Spandau Ballet, all the electronic music. I fucking love electronic music. And today, it's 2022, but today I like to play the most up to date electronic.
You're way
Yeah,
into
yeah,
space.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll be your
yeah.
co-host.
I love it. I love it. It's
I listened
beautiful.
to many a living room DJ during the pandemic and partied in my living room while they partied in theirs.
Wow,
That is actually
I've
a key
actually
word,
been
right?
a
Living room
living room
DJ.
DJ.
Yep.
Yes.
Living room DJs. Yep.
So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
we
yeah.
we have on here also Amy. Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Thank you for having this space. I'm not really, well, it's gonna sound self-deprecating, but I'm like not really in this space. But you did remind me that I need to upload my podcast, so that's what I'm doing now. I've just been sitting on this episode for like a week, so I should probably get it out the door.
Amazing. What is your
Awesome.
podcast?
So it's actually on my other Twitter handle, Glot Squad, we do a linguistics podcast every Monday where we just talk in Twitter spaces, and then I just post the Twitter space to Anchor. So kind of like a lazy podcast, but it's all I have time for.
I love it. I
love
actually
it.
think that's like we've been doing the same thing, you know, doing these Twitter spaces, creating podcasts from them, and really just being able to syndicate content from one space to another is very useful.
So what you into, Amy?
So I'm a computer programmer and I have 2 cats and I love learning spoken languages. So I'm making a language learning platform. So I'm promoting it on all of my spaces that I can.
So like a linguist, what you convert languages into different languages?
So the website's called Glot Squad, and what I do is I'm helping elementary to advanced speakers to navigate real-world material by providing games, tools, and activities. It's basically just gamifying and making things less exhaustive for people as they get better at language learning.
Very cool. It's like a Duolingo type of thing, but of course different and not that.
Yeah, well, Duolingo is very good for beginners. I'm not trying to take on Duolingo, but it's going to be a platform like that you know, gamifies and encourages people to go on with the language learning journey.
That is awesome.
That's
And that's
incredible.
so important. Yeah, like I've been trying to I need to start learning more Spanish. My husband speaks fluent Spanish and I know
I
some,
would
but-
love to speak Spanish.
right?
You know,
I need to learn.
Spanish is the best sounding language in the world.
It's a beautiful. I mean, I might be a little biased.
Absolutely
I enjoy hearing.
beautiful. Beautiful. It's better than French. Spanish is absolutely amazing language.
Yeah, it seems like no matter what space I go into, like there's always a language learner because language learners have so many.
Or whichever event, I can be doing a healthy eating event to tech event. It's the exact same format. So I look at that in a sense, and then you know, to best practice, since I've been out of it for 2 years, it's not really doing anything compared to doing 2 or 3, 4 events a month. I am looking more about creating, because the church that I'm involved in has 2.5 acres of land. So I'm looking to creating that into a metaverse and then have that as another space. So during a hybrid event, we can have an
Yeah.
event here, and then people can from all over the world can go sign on and be at exact same replica that we're doing, what we are in person, so that it kind of like we can stream in whatever we're doing, and also the people, the attendees will be able to pick up their swag bag, do everything that you would want to do in person, but you'll be doing virtual. So I have some events that I'm setting up for that. I can't really announce much because I'm finalizing the details of it. But the main thing is I'm setting up a green market. I mean, we were talking about it,
It's
and
really good. It's really good.
yeah, Yeah, green market, trying to help this the community, help the small business people, have a space. So since I have this church, it has 2.5 acres of land. It's right like 5 miles from the beach. The city, which is Pompano City, is already hosting every other Saturday a green market. So I'm looking at doing something on the opposite Saturday, and just kind of like having it there so that the neighborhood, everyone can understand a little bit more about NFT, utilizing all the different artists
How,
I've known. So
yeah, absolutely. How would you host that though? How do you host?
well, I have a location already. My church bought a new church, which has 2.5 acres of land, which is like just a couple trees, so it's perfect for tents.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it has a school there and already. It has and two cafeteria, and so I volunteer, so I'm the communication director, so I can host any events I want there. So
Mm,
we're gonna start
mm.
hosting events for women in communication, in person, hybrid, and also we'd like to be able to utilize the church's metaverse to do a hybrid event too, so that this way.
You keep saying metaverse. So metaverse, what does metaverse involve for you?
Metaverse is just it's like it's called Web3, where people are
I
going
know,
into the virtual.
I know what metaverse is. But how are you going to do metaverse?
Oh, I am in the talks to some people. I've been doing this since, I got into VR in 2015, so this has been my world, but it just finally caught up to everybody else. I'm excited about that, but we're looking at building our own structure. So I have all the dimension. We had the drone flew over the whole property. So actually today at 1 p.m. I'm interviewing a builder. They build virtual world. It's just like Minecraft, I
S-
think. That's what I
It
feel.
sounds cool. It sounds cool.
Yeah,
And
so that
actually, oh, go ahead, Tonya.
no, go ahead. Like I said, that's one of the main. That's my project this year is to get that built, and then once that is built, then I can add in the other aspect to it.
And I would love it if you can connect me to the builder as well, because I have a client who's looking for somebody to help them develop a virtual world, and they have a scan. They've done a full scan of their space and all, but we now need somebody to help put this into creation. And I am researching vendors. So if you can connect me, that would be amazing.
Yeah. I got. I'm touring one piece of land today, or how they're building it. But Decentraland, Big Joe, who is your client,
Yep,
told me that they can give my church a grant if like he's gonna set it up for me to talk to him. So that
that's
can
amazing. Yeah.
because we're a nonprofit, so if we can get a grant on that, then we'll just use his space and to build there